can see the aircraft has wire strike protection system on the nose.
Yes.
The theory on this is, and you don't want to test the theory, but a wire would get fed into the wire cutter, hopefully, as opposed to missing it and getting stuck in between, which would be bad. But the wire gets fed in here and cuts itself, or if it's above the radome here, jumps over the wiper here with this
protector. I got
right,
you. Yeah.
That's part of the kit. And then it jumps over the windshield wiper and cuts off the wire on the top. Like I say, it's theory. I'm sure it works, but we don't.
Yeah, don't test it.
We don't want to test that. And, we like to stay away from the ground. It has the normal radios you'd have in any aircraft, VHF AM for air traffic control. It also has a Technosonics radio with the control head in the front, which is in the center console here.
Okay.
The avionics.
Okay.
And this shows you the typical spin-up speeds. Garmin GTX 330 for the transponder, 430 here, and let me get everything illuminated for daytime.
Now I noticed some of them, I mean, obviously some will come with dual instrumentation, because you'll see some of them. Yeah, so this is just a single pilot IFR.
Right.
Right, whereas this portion here for dual or like I say, depending on your mission for the helicopter.
Right. In the 430 we had a twin panel, but we also had two sets of controls, and so it was different certificate back in those days.
Gotcha.
All these displays here have MVG filters on them, and so to be honest with you, this is the best MVG configuration I've ever seen. I mean, you're not looking at it now, but what I mean is it's not detracting from the daytime view.
Right.
Some aircraft, when you put MVG filters on them, are just a little bit difficult in the daytime to see, in bright daylight. This one's very good. Yeah, have a seat there. So right now we're working off the battery, and I'm going to keep an eye on the voltage there.
Oh yeah.
It'll be okay. And there's the multifunction display.
Oh, beautiful.
I'll shift the range out a little bit. You can see I got a jet on there.
Yeah.
Let me get that back on the helicopter. I don't know who put that there.
You could put a car up there. Yeah, that would be funny. Yeah.
Anyway, there's the helicopter. It's a little more difficult to see, but that shows our position here. There's Madisonville, and there's Anton, Dayton. There's Athens, Tennessee. There's Rockwood, Tennessee, Knoxville. There's the Class C airspace for that. Chattanooga down here.
Yeah.
All the obstructions and so forth. And here's our 530 here. And it's just about spun up. So if we want to go, I'll just pick a local. We'll pick Harriman, or Rome Medical Center. We'll go direct there. Rome Medical Center. And I'll select a different page here so we can see where we are a little better once it stops flashing. And then I'll crank the range out a little bit. So here we are. There's the medical center off to our northwest. And so if I want to shoot the approach there, I'll just press procedure, select approach, and then I know what the approach is. Only one approach there, so that's the GPS 264, which we have. It's a proprietary approach. And I'll pick this initial approach fix here, C-Reb. There it is.
We'll go direct. Okay.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and activate it. And so there it is. And I'll check the waypoints here against our paper chart and simulate doing that. There's a holding pattern if we missed. And just for fun, I'll put in UT Medical Center, which we have abbreviated UT at the bottom of it.
Yeah, for a quick reference.
And so there that is, and we'll get the range there, and I'll hop over there with the cursor, take a look at it, check the orientation, and it looks, definitely too far. Looks good. And so once that's done, get out of that page, we'll pull out our company checklist for IFR departures, and among other things, one of the things we'll do is we'll check our rain prediction, roll through that, it pops up as good, and then once we get near the approach, we'll select our sensitivity to 0.3,
Okay, yeah, you're 0.3 as well. All right.
And so then we get out of that page, and then we'll be set for the approach. 70 knots all the way down to the MDA, hopefully break out.
Yeah, exactly. Always though. Wait a second.
And here it shows our selection that we got there, the 0.3 selection.
Oh, nice, yeah, because on the RMP we can go down to 0.11.
And that's nice.
Yeah.
Well, it'll do better than this, but that's
well, yeah, I mean, usually it's the electronics are always dumbed down depending on how much you pay for it.
Right.
Or the options you have, exactly.
And so there's our flat screen attitude indicator, and then we have a couple of options for a navigation display. Normally we fly with the HSI mode. We have a composite mode here for the AI, and of course, like any 530, you got the regular page that you have. And of course, on our 200, we have different modes here we can select. We got IFR page, like I guess everybody has.
Yeah.
And VFR page.
That map overview is so nice.
And then we have the flight information system, where we can check weather once it's all spooled up, and destination and so forth, providing we have something selected in there which is nearby an airport.
I see you have a database card in there, so you just swap that out.
And now our XM weather is alive.
Oh, really?
And so that...
Oh, well, especially for you guys, that is a major advantage.
Yes, it is.
Look at that.
And
I wish we had that on the 7.3. Good Lord.
it's wonderful.
Oh, they're talking about it, but it'll be years down the road.
And the cool thing is, let's say we're going to go to Chattanooga. Well, I can hit pan, and then I can use my arrow keys and go down towards that direction. Go up a little bit. And then I can change my scale, and I can look at Chattanooga close up before I even get close to Chattanooga. So I can figure which way, if I want to request right or left course.
Yeah. It's like you're on the approach controller, and a lot of times you sort of vector yourself almost. Yeah.
You can get an educated request for what you actually want to do to avoid weather.
Yeah, because I went to the Atlanta ARTC Center, and of course, this is 15 years ago, but still, they haven't updated their equipment that much. And they're like, dude, you can see so much more than we can. It's like.
And of course, we have physical radar too. The only problem with the radar is it doesn't superimpose map on top of it. So if I have radar up, it's normally because I'm shooting an approach in between the mountains.
Right, and I got you.
And there I'll make sure I'm not, going to shoot my approach into terra firma. You can hear it motoring.
Oh yeah, I was going to say you can hear the radar. Yeah.
So I'm going to turn it off so I don't radiate somebody.
Gotcha.
But it's a good digital radar, and it's actual physical radar. It does well.
You could, like say, in a pinch. You can train mapping. Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Because if I'm going to Bryson City, which is in the mountains, or Western Carolina Regional, which is in the mountains, I want to know left and right of course where the mountains are, because I don't need to even be guessing about.
So do y'all have a?
Yes, we do. We have enhanced ground proximity.
Yeah. Okay. I'm brain dumping there.
we do, and we always keep it fully.
So on the radar, can you swap between radar and GPWS and
EGWPS stays alive all the time.
Right.
And it only pops up if you have
a terrain conflict. Right.
Terrain conflict. But the only minor thing is that the physical radar is on its own page. So if I want to go to that, I only have radar. But then again, I have a 530 and a 430, and I got the normal.
Right,
so it's not like we were out in the Wild Wild West or anything.
Gotcha.
But it's a real pleasure to fly. Autopilot's solid, and
it looks, oh yeah, you got 5 times more nice stuff than even we have right now.
But up front, if you're the paramedic, what you're going to be controlling here is the Technosonics radio, which is here, and it'll spin up, and of course they have their own little frequency card for not so little, but all the different counties and emergency.
Oh yeah, for the EMS and all that. Yeah.
And they deal with that while I'm dealing with the air traffic control business. And a lot of times we'll talk about the flight briefly before we go, and I'll say, guys, I'll be dealing with air traffic control during run-up, and they're doing their thing with the Technosonics, maybe part of that on telephone. But we'll isolate frequently as soon as we get clear and we have a stable VY climb out. And so at that point I'll say, guys, I'm going to isolate, then you can talk among yourself. And so if I have a paramedic in the left seat, I'll go to pilot isolated. And that means the paramedic you can talk to the nurse in the back freely, and I can talk to the
and you're not being distracted.
It is a beautiful thing. And if I want to talk to just the co-pilot or the paramedic in the front, we'll isolate pilot co-pilot from the back. And if I want to isolate everybody from everybody, I go to all isolate.
Oh, okay.
Everybody can talk on their own radio, and then I've never used that. But normally we're green, all open, all common.
And then if you're doing an approach, you can swap back because they're having a problem and you're not distracted.
Now, if they need me, they have a button to push, and it makes a tone
override. Okay.
beep, and then
Gotcha.
I'll say, what do you need, and they'll tell me. But great aircraft. We have the steam gauges, or legacy gauges they call them.
Yeah.
Physical standby attitude indicator, airspeed. Of course, the tape for the airspeed is over here.
Right.
The attitude indicator and altimeter. And then we have the what we call a triple tack. It's got the rotor in the front and the number 1 and number 2 MP behind it. And then we have, this is called the FLI gauge, first limit indicator gauge. You got the number 1 and the number 2 numbers. And the interesting thing about it is, let's say we're limited to torque like we are today in today's temperatures. There'll be a box left and right of the torque for the number 1, number 2 engines, telling us that torque is the limit for today. And then the numbers that we're looking at on the pointer are related to torque. And so if something changes, like strange temperature, really hot or something, it might go to TOT limit. Or maybe we're high altitude or something, it might be a TOT limit. But whatever, it's a limit.
Right.
And then it's an easy, quick reference too. And over here we have our caution panel, and this shows our fuel tanks that we were talking about earlier. It's the main tank in the center. It kind of looks like this.
Yeah, okay.
And you got 15 gallons on the left supply feed tank, and you got 15 gallons on the right supply feed tanks. It's got a chunk knocked out of it because there's a chunk knocked out of it.
Oh, okay.
A piece of styrofoam is underneath that tank, and it takes 3 gallons out of it. So really this is 12 gallons.
Okay.
And I guess it's there to, if you lose an engine, it's going to be this engine first.
Oh yeah. Unless you're not coordinated on the controls or something.
Yeah, hopefully you're not going to ever get down to the point where you're in the emergency fuel. But if you're that
critical,
spaced out, then maybe you only use one engine at once, and you can get on the ground in hopefully 2 or 3 minutes.
Are these FADEC engines?
Yes, they are FADEC.
Okay.
Beautiful FADEC. Easiest to start, and it starts here via these switches. And when the FADECs are on, you just
there's really no, or very, very low probability of hot starts and things like that, right?
I've never seen it even come close.
Okay.
And it's not like we don't watch it, but I mean, it doesn't even get close.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful thing. Once you get the prime pumps on up here, you get a light for that, and it's on. And of course, then I go to FADEC, and I won't do that, but it'll run through the check there. And then once the FADEC has done its triple check 990, 133, and 16 on the gauge, then I'll tell the crew I'm going to start number 1 or whatever, and I'll pull this up here, put it in idle, and the number 1 engine will start and go to idle. And then we start the number 2, and then once that's done, get everybody on board and go to flight mode. Get the guards in position.
Gotcha.
And continue with the rest of the checklist.
So again, it's another stress reliever for you, because you got other more important things to worry about than managing a fuel system or an engine. You know.
This is definitely the easiest aircraft I've ever flown.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's got so many things. If you do something wrong, you're going to get a yellow caution light.
Yeah.
I mean, if you, not that this could happen or anything, but if you left off the autopilot, you get a, you get the yellow autopilot light, which it tells you, hey, it's off. You know.
And then, guess what? Hello.
Do you want the autopilot to be off? It's just a wonderful thing. And if you inadvertently leave the pumps off, it'll give you a caution. It'll give you a pump for fuel pressure or transfer pumps.
Like, hey, Goofy. Well, it's like on the 7.3, if you take off and you leave the wing and ice on, it says, okay, you're stupid, I'm switching it off, you know, for takeoff. It's, it's a little bit smarter than you are. Yeah.
It's a good system. Of course, we have the standby for the VOR and the ILS here.
Oh, yeah.
And, we have, this is our primary instrument, but if I'm flying an ILS, going into McGee-Tyson, for example, and the course is, let's say...
Does it auto set the course for you? Or, because we still have to set the inbound course, you know.
I don't remember, but...
mainly on the OBS, I mean,
Yeah, but I know that I physically have to run through the checklist and set the course to whatever the inbound is.
Oh, okay, well, it's just like ours then,
But...
I mean, it should, on the newer generation, like, apparently on the CRJ 700s, 900s, it just auto-selects. But, of course, it's an avionics package, it's not the airplane, so...
But, like you're going to go to McGee-Tyson, don't know if it's going to pop up in our nearest. I'll just type it in manually. Okay, we got that. We'll activate that. Procedure for that, and then we'll there's all the lineup, the approaches, all these wonderful. I mean, every single one of these we're authorized to shoot, and we get, you know, we're checked, you know, every 3 months actually to do all these.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a little something extra from the company.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, there's the different ones we have: the 4 RNAV, the 2 ILS, and a couple of VOR approaches. And so we'll say let's go to 5 left. We'll pick vectors, and we'll go ahead and load that. There it is. We've got the caution. We've acknowledged it. There it is. Everything's there.
Well, this setup basically whatever fix you're going to, or if you put it in the runway, it'll give you a 3-degree. You could do an arcing turn,
yes,
and it'll give you the glide slope all the way to the. Okay, it's the same setup then.
And of course, we have decision height. You know, we'll set that here, and we use that for everything, whether it be for ILS approach or for just flying VFR. We'll set it in the daytime, 500 feet on the radar altimeter, and for some reason somebody is below that, you get the warning, you get the squealer, and but we normally, as a matter of practice, set it at 500 feet, and once we decide we're going to shoot an approach, we set in whatever the MDA or the decision height is.
Gotcha. This is beyond my expectations as far as getting some nice.
It just makes it so easy, you know. Of course, here's our throttles, and the back one, the one that's notched, that has the more notches.
Oh yeah, the notching. Okay.
And not that you have a brain cramp or anything, but the number 2 engine is aft, and the number 1 engine is forward. So left is 1, like any airplane, and and 2 is right. The problem is, a little negative habit transfer from the 430 is that we had a T handle. So you think your little finger here should be 1, but it's not. So the way I remember
I got you.
You got the tactile thing to remind you got more, which means higher, higher number, and you got the lines here, which remind you that's a 1.
Okay, yeah, it's just a memory thing.
Whatever it takes, you know? Or you just look at it, it says 1 and 2, you know, whatever. But it's auto governed, of course, so we don't need to mess with that. And we do have procedures for FADEC failures, but they're very simple.